Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Because Women Count 2021, an online sharing of gender and development data and issues brought to you by the Provincial Government of Negros Occidental through the Provincial Gender and Development Focal Point System, with the technical support of the Negros Occidental Language, Information, and Technology Center and Tech for Ed Philippines. I am Marie June Pavillar Castro, the Action Officer of the PGFPS, and I will be anchoring our Because Women Count webinar series. To start our program this morning, we have the prayer to be sung by the Negros Occidental Singing Ambassadors, followed by the national anthem from an AVP produced by the Philippine Commission on Women, and the Negros hymn, still with the Capital Choir or NOSA.
Sa nagkakataon, isahin ang iyong bagan sa sikataon. Bayang magiliw, pera sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisihil, sa nagkakatbundok sa bayang magiliw, pera sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y upang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisihil, sa nagkakatbundok sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may hilag kang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdinigdig, ang bituin at araw niyang kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walhati pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Ang hiligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. Sa kita kapamilya, pag-uligay, pag-inay, pag-ibog, manapat mag-ari sa akin na probinsya. Magotod na Negrosano, isa katawungan, mapinalang tao, sa bunga dampuan na isakripisyo, sa kauswagan, sa sikatao. Sa kasalan, abot wala may mapiling sa kalulong, nanagaan kustan nagais na ako. Ang matutod na Negrosano, isa katawungan, mapinalang tao, sa una dampuan na isakripisyo, sa kauswagan, sa sikatao. Ang matutod na Negrosano, sa katawungan, mapinalang tao, sa punadang ko ang dahil sakripisyo, paghulikan, paghigain, paghigong dapat maghari, para sa kauswagan, sa sikatao.
Thank you and good morning once again. We are sorry for the technical glitch. And yes, this is still our Because Women Count 2021, an online sharing of GAD data and issues. I would like to say thank you to all who registered and are joining us this morning, especially to the members of our provincial and LGU GAD Focal Point System and our GAD Focal persons, majority of whom are social workers. Also joining us are some of our elected officials, local legislators and their legislative staff, also OFW Federation officers and family circle members, and leaders of urban poor associations and informal settler families, and some would be candidates in the coming elections. Before we meet our speakers and listen to the various presentation, let us first hear the message of the chair of the provincial GAD Focal Point System, no less than our governor, the Honorable Eugenio Jose Lacson.
The pursuance of gender advancement and advocacy is among the thrust of the present administration. And in so doing, we made certain that proper enabling mechanism shall be in place through the creation of appropriate structures and priority programs. In 2019, when Because Women Count was organized by the provincial government, selected agencies and organizations were asked to share their GAD data. Such initiative was taken to have a more systematic method in identifying gender issues so that data-driven interventions can be made. Particularly now that the COVID-19 crisis heightened the diverse issues faced by women. To all the participants of this GAD data sharing, we truly appreciate your dedication and we thank you for recognizing the importance of having proper data that will help us make informed and accurate decisions and enable us to make strategic approaches. I also would like to encourage all our LGUs to have a more active participation. Your inputs will be of this campaign. To the organizers, thank you and congratulations. May this activity give all our stakeholders inspiration to pursue the noble objective of protecting, enabling, and validating the women of the province. May the good Lord continue to guide us in our aim to achieve dignity, respect, and justice for all. Avance, Negrense.
Thank you, Governor. Indeed, Avance Negrense. Also, from all of us here in the PGNO, we would like to greet Happy Mother's Day to all mommies, mamas, and nanais. In Negros, we had our celebrations yesterday, but in other countries, they are still celebrating Mother's Day today. This pilot episode of Because Women Count is actually our way of recognizing the roles, sacrifices, and agencies of our women and mothers, not only in the homes, but also in our communities as they strive to make this world a better place for their children. Long time ago, women have no voice in society. Women were not even counted in patriarchal society. Women's suffrage was legalized in the country only in 1937, and the Philippines was one of the first Asian countries to allow this right to vote. The implementing rules and regulations of Republic Act 9710, or the Magna Carta of Women, provides in Rule 6, Section 37D, that all departments, their attached agencies, offices, bureaus, state universities and colleges, government-owned and controlled corporations, and local government units and other instrumentalities shall develop and maintain a GAD database containing GAD information to include gender statistics and age and sex disaggregated data that have been systematically produced, gathered, and regularly updated to serve as inputs or basis for planning, programming, and policy formulation. Way back in 2019, as the governor said, the province, through a project of the Provincial Planning and Development Office, had the first Women Count Conference where selected NGAs, SUCs, and offices of the PGNO and the provincial government share the GAD data, identify gender issues based on this data, and plan and implemented interventions to address these issues. This year, the provincial government, through the PGFPS, organized Because Women Count 2021 to share GAD updates from the same stakeholders and more. Originally slated as a face-to-face gathering last March 30 and 31, as a culmination of our Women's Month, the conference was postponed due to the surge in COVID cases and is finally staged through online platforms. We can be viewed today through Facebook and YouTube. So the objectives of the Because Women Count are the following. One, to share GAD data, GAD issues, and some interventions or programs, projects, and activities to address these issues. For the PGFPS members, including GAD focal persons and local legislators of the province and all component cities and municipalities, to be updated on GAD data, which can help them in crafting or amending policies and PPAs to better the lives of the Grancy women and their families. And lastly, we would like to encourage LGUs to also organize their own women count or sharing of GAD data to get a better view of the situation of the women and girls in their locality. This morning, we have invited four speakers to talk about very important issues. These include women and migration, women and leadership, women and water, and women and housing. To start with, we have no less than the OIC Regional Director of the Overseas Welfare Administration to speak about women and migration. She is originally from Sagay City, and she's a graduate of Community Development and Development or Broadcast Communication from the University of the Philippines in the Visayas. And she was the head of the provincial OWA here in Negros before she was assigned as an OIC Regional Director of OWA. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Reza Joy Mapa Moldes.
Thank you so much, Miss
Good morning, Ma'am Riza.
Jean. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be with you today. So allow me to start my presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Can you see my presentation? Hi, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, miss. Loud and clear.
All right. Let's start. So as of 2019, based on the survey for our overseas Filipinos conducted by the Philippine Statistics Agency, there are a total of 2.2 million OFWs worldwide. Let's look into the aggregate. The proportion of female OFW is higher than male OFWs at 56%. The largest proportion of OFWs belong to age group 30 to 34 years old, comprising of 26% of all OFWs, and about 7% of female OFWs were in the age group 15 to 24 years old, and 46.9% were in the age group 25 to 34 years old. There were more OFWs, 38.1%, than female OFWs in the age group 40 years old and above. So let's proceed with the distribution of overseas Filipino workers by the region of origin and place of work abroad. So the largest proportion of our overseas Filipino workers are actually from Calabarzon at 20.7% out of the total OFWs. Those coming from Central Luzon, National Capital Region, and Western Visayas place at fourth, comprises about 13.3%, 9.7%, and 9% respectively. For the place of origin, Saudi Arabia continued to be the most preferred destination among our OFWs. One
Excuse me,
out of
Liz.
five. Yes, yes, ma'am.
It just, yung screen nyo hindi nag-move. And please
Alright,
share full screen po.
alright. Five. Is it
Okay.
can you see my screen,
Yeah,
ma'am?
the next slide. Oo. Yes, ma'am. I-full screen nyo po, ma'am. Full screen.
Better? Okay na ba, ma'am? I'm sorry. Is it
If full screen, if, if, i-full screen nyo po, ma'am. F5. F5 daw. Press
Yes,
F5.
ma'am. Naka F5 na siya actually. For a while.
Okay, so for those who are
Can
watching, we are with OWA, yes.
hindi ako
We have here Ma'am Riza Joy
Ma'am,
Moldes,
can you see
the
now my
regional.
screen?
Yeah, we
Can you
see it. It's not full screen. There are
It's
slides
showing.
at the side. Okay. Yes. Our first speaker is from OWA. She's sharing GAD data about our women migrant workers. She's the OIC Regional Director, Ma'am Riza Joy Mapa Moldes.
Better, ma'am?
Yes. And
Shall we
later on, we
continue?
also. Okay.
Alright, shall we continue?
Okay, ma'am.
Alright, for that preferred OFW destination of Saudi Arabia continued to be the most preferred destination. Actually, one out of five OFWs work in the country during the period of April to September 2019. So the other popular are Taiwan, UAE, Hong Kong, among others. So the preferred occupation, so 39% for both sexes or 62.5% performs elementary occupations. Now let's look into the local setup. Let's look into the local picture of our OFWs. So here in the province of Negros Occidental, we have a total of 157,508 OFWs as of March 25, 2021. 51% or 87,123 are female, 83% or rather 45% are male, which is about 83,051, and 4% or around 5,524 did not stipulate in their database or in their record their gender. So allow me to share with you the top 10 cities and municipalities in the province in terms of number of OFWs in no particular order. So first, we have Bago City with 9,500 OFWs. So this is our latest data as of March 25, 2021. Out of the 9,504 OFWs from Bago City, 4,865 are actually female. And for male, we have 4,201 and 438 OFWs did not state their gender. Followed by the city of Cadiz with 5,667 OFWs. 2,884 of which are female, and 2,533 are male. We also have Himamaylan as one of the top deploying cities in the province with 5,686 OFWs, 3,079 of which are female, and 2,352 are male, and 255 are not stated. The city of Kabangkalan has a total of 7,199 OFW population with 4,093 female OFWs and 2,876 male OFWs. So if we notice the trend, there are several cities, municipalities with a good number of female OFW, but that is not the case in the cities of Talisay and Victorias. So Talisay City has a total of 6,553, but the number of male OFWs are higher compared to female OFWs. In the city of Talisay, the female OFW is at 2,686, while the male OFWs, we have 3,527, and the not stated is 344. Similar is the case of Victoria City with 5,951 OFWs. Male OFWs are at 3,203, while the female OFWs are at 2,365. The municipality of Hinigaran has a total of 5,226 OFWs. The number of male and female OFWs is almost at par. So female OFWs are 2,482, and the male OFWs, we have 2,431. And La Carlota City at 4,407. So the number of male OFWs is also higher at 2,187, and the female OFWs at 1,986. The city of Sagay has a total of 6,717 OFWs, and somehow the number of male and female OFWs is also at par. Female OFWs is around 3,220, and the male OFWs is at around 3,212. And also, the city of Silay has a total of 8,789,000 OFWs. Male OFWs is way higher at 4,590, and female OFWs are 3,791. So we have a copy here of the statistics of all the cities and the municipalities in the province. I've also provided a copy to our GAD Focal in the province to Miss June if the LGUs would want to get a copy of the statistics. We can share.
Yes, Ma'am
So,
Riz, can
yes,
you
ma'am.
share i-full screen niyo po tapos ang nulit sinang bahala mag-ano. Kasi hindi po lumalakad yung ano.
Ay, sorry.
Full screen niyo lang po. I-full screen niyo tapos kasi hindi
Really,
po
wait lang.
nagmo-move.
Dito kasi sa akin, ma'am, naka-full screen na po siya.
Oo.
Full screen ba?
Yan, hindi kasi po nagmo-move. Yeah. Dapat yung screen, yung makikita mo lang yung buong screen ng computer. Tapos nulit sila pong bahala mag side by side sa atin. Yung may additional stat pa po kayo? Ma'am Riz, do you have additional statistics? Okay. So so Right now we're sharing no the statistics. Actually, Regional Director Riza Joy is sharing the statistics. Ma'am Riz,
Yes, ma'am.
oh,
Is it
may additional statistics tayo dyan. Oh, yeah.
yes, yes, ma'am.
Ah,
Is
Tin,
it better, ma'am?
yun
Is
na,
it
yun
already
na
full
siguro ang full
screen?
screen. Full screen na ba? Tin, is that okay? So may continuation yun, Ma'am Riz.
Ah,
Oh,
no, ma'am. Kompleto
yan.
na ang aton. I just discussed the top 10 because the top
Mm-hmm.
10 number of
Mm-mm.
cities and municipalities with highest
Yes.
number of
Okay.
OFWs. Shall we
Mm-hmm.
proceed with the
Yes.
issues and
Yes. Okay, ma'am.
programs? All right. So
Full screen na for
we have
it. Full screen. Okay po.
yes, ma'am.
Sige, ma'am.
So we have identified several issues, GAD issues. Let's proceed. Allow me to share with you identified issues of the Office of Overseas Workers Welfare Administration. So women affected by disasters, calamities, and other crises and situations. So especially last year during the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. So the cause of the issue is that migrant workers were helpless and unprepared during the crisis situations. Hence, they need transportation, accommodation, and food assistance, as well as financial assistance and other psychological interventions. So, our objective is to provide immediate assistance to OFWs who were temporarily displaced due to the suspension of flights to Hong Kong, China, and Macau due to the travel ban imposed by the government. So what we provide is we provide a relief assistance program and provided financial assistance amounting to 10,000 pesos. So in the province of Negros Occidental, we assisted 100 female OFWs stranded in the province and was able to release 1.6 million pesos. So since we started our repatriation efforts sometime in March 2020, we also provided transportation, including airport and meals assistance. So since our repatriation effort started, we have assisted 1,796 women OFWs coming from the province of Negros Occidental and was able to provide assistance amounting to 24 million pesos. So our objective is to provide a safe forum for our OFW leaders and to discuss the process as well as the experience during the COVID-19 pandemic. The office spearheaded a webinar on debriefing on resiliency, strength, and power, which was participated by 30 women OFWs from the province of Negros Occidental. So another issue, female migrant workers who lost their jobs during the crisis will not be able to support their children because of financial constraints and financial difficulties. So our objective is to provide educational assistance to legal dependents of migrant OFWs who lost their job during the pandemic. So our agency created a specific program called the Project Alalay sa pag-aaral para sa mga anak ng OFWs sa panahon ng pandemya. So we were able to provide a one-time financial assistance amounting to 20,000 pesos to 20 qualified dependents of female OFWs affected by the pandemic. So we were able to release a total of 400,000 financial assistance. Another educational program, which is I would also like to share to our participants. This program is still ongoing, and we are still accepting applications. We have the educational assistance through scholarship in emergencies or project ease. So our activity is to release financial assistance amounting to 10,000 pesos to 25 qualified dependent of female OFWs affected by the pandemic. By the way, Miss June, no, our beneficiaries, these were our beneficiaries last year. So we have not included in the data the number of releases that we have released from the period of January to April 2021. For our Tabang OFW, we were able to release a one-time monetary assistance amounting to 30,000 pesos to 28 college-level children of overseas Filipino workers affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And the total financial assistance we have released in the province is 840,000 pesos. So, issues. So most OFWs, especially women, lack the knowledge, skills, as well as very important capital to venture into entrepreneurial activities, which can be alternative to overseas employment. So our objective is to provide social and economic services through our reintegration program for returning OFWs who were displaced and distressed or repatriated with distressful situations, financial difficulties due to the economic conditions. So we have three component programs. The first program is the Balik Pinas Balik Hanap Buhay program. This is a financial assistance to qualified OFWs, and they are able to receive either 5,000, 10,000, or 20,000 pesos. So for 2020, we were able to provide assistance to 155 displaced female OFWs in the province of Negros Occidental and was able to release 2.8 million pesos. The next program that we have is for Balik Pinas, Balik Hanap Buhay program under our sister agency, which is the National Reintegration Center. The difference between the Balik Pinay and the Balik Pinas Balik Hanap Buhay program is Balik Pinas Balik Hanap Buhay program geared to help undocumented female OFWs. When we say undocumented, these OFWs do not have legal documents when they were deployed. So we were able to provide 10,000 pesos financial assistance to 40 female undocumented OFWs from the province of Negros Occidental and was able to release 400,000 pesos. Another program that we have is the Sapinas Ikaw and Mom and Sir program or the SPIMS program. The program aims to enhance the skills of former household service workers as they are provided with permanent employment opportunities as teacher one in their preferred school of assignment, and they're also provided with teaching kits amounting to 20,000 pesos. So last year, we have a total of 32 beneficiaries. We have placed them, provided them with teacher one position, and granted them 20,000 teaching kits, and we were able to release 640,000 pesos financial assistance to our beneficiaries. So the another gender issue that we have identified is the lack of adequate information, especially on the culture, laws of host countries, as well as information or knowledge on how to protect themselves while working abroad and government services to OFWs. So this is a pre-deployment intervention. So we aim to provide a more comprehensive guidance to our overseas Filipino workers who wish to venture working abroad. So we have the pre-departure orientation seminar and 85 women OFWs completed the PIDOS training. So the PIDOS training is being provided for our female OFWs free of charge. Another gender issue that we have identified is the lack of skills in response to the current trends, technologies, and developments in the local and labor market. So our objective is to grant technical, vocational, or specialized training courses with an end view of our OFWs gaining or scaling up their skills for better employment opportunities. So our program intervention is the Skills for Employment Scholarship Program. So three female OFWs from the province has completed the technical or vocational specialized training course, and we were able to release a total of 43,500. Another issue we have identified is the sudden loss of income caused by the death or being sentenced with life imprisonment of migrant workers, which has created emotional and financial difficulties, especially for the left behind families. So, our objective is to provide livelihood assistance for survivors or wives of deceased OFWs. So our program is the ELAP, or Education and Livelihood Assistance Program. From the Province of Negros Occidental, we have provided 15 legal dependents of deceased OFWs with financial assistance amounting to 15,000 pesos, or a total of 225,000 pesos. So that ends my presentation. Back to you, Ma'am June.
So for that sharing, and I'm sure a lot of our participants have also been aware of the statistics of our OFW. So kadamo gali kaayo, no? And we're glad to see the programs that you have implemented, and for sharing us also your template of the GAD plan. This will also give ideas to our GAD focal point team members, and especially the GAD focal persons. So, Ma'am Risa, we will ask you to stay with us for just there in the studio, and we'll be back with you after 20 minutes after the sharing from our next speaker.
All right. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
ma'am.
much.
And yes, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. So that was our OIC Regional Director of the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, Ma'am Riza Joy Mapa Moldes. So this time, we'll move on to our next speaker. Originally, our second speaker is from the COMELEC, but they have an emergency MANCOM meeting, and Attorney Aspan requested to be the last speaker. So this time, we'll have a topic on women and water. Water is very important to the women, no? So our speaker is a graduate of Commerce, major in management from St. Paul College of Manila. Now it's St. Paul University of Manila. And she has an MA on conflict and resolution studies from the University of St. LaSalle, and also a certificate in crisis and psychotrauma management. She has been a volunteer of Pax Christi, also the Security Reform Initiative or Bantay Bayanihan Bacolod, and also a member of the Young Women Christian Association of the Philippines Bacolod chapter. For her work experiences, she has been a technical assistant for administrative and board matters, and a project member of ERDA Tech Foundation Incorporated, or the Educational Research and Development Assistance. In Negros, she's more popularly known as the program manager of Bantay Bata 163 of EBS, CBN Lincoln Kapamilya Foundation Incorporated. And she's also worked with the DILG as part of the regional assessment team of the Seal of Good Local Governance, and the project regional coordinator of the YWCA, Empowering and Engendering Young Women to promote sexual and reproductive health rights and prevent STD, HIV/AIDS among the Filipino youth. She was a former inclusive restoration of livelihoods for transformative resiliency project team leader under the Humanity and Inclusion of the Philippine Indonesia Timor-Leste program. And recently, before her work with the current NGO, she was a former community development specialist of Habitat for Humanity Philippines under the Negros Occidental Impact 2025 project. Right now, she is the Safe Water Project Gender Focal Person and Livelihood and Partnership Coordinator. Safe Water Project is a funded project of the USAID. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Caril Ann Diamante Depositario.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Hi,
Again, thank you
Caril.
very
Good
much.
morning.
Good morning, Miss June. Thank you very much for inviting Safe Water Project in this Because Women Count conference. Okay, so before I will start my presentation on women in the water sector, I will be showing an audiovisual presentation about one of the women leaders in the water sector here in Negros Occidental.
Ako, sininfa binitwa, sa 70 years old, kag pumuluyo sang Poroque Pilipil, si Chobinichiwan, Barangay Bungat, Don Salvador Benedicto. Ako, chairperson sang Muad Negros Multi-Alliance for Sector. Ang among watershed sa babaw, ang among mga reforestation, among ginaproteher. Kaya nga, among asa, ang among nga source ang potable water kag irrigation system. Among nasa bilang isa ka pamuluyo, advocacy ko gidya nga i-protect gidya ang among nga kagulangan. Sa partnership sang USAID and MUAD, gina-expectar ko gidya nga mangin madidalag. Hindi lang sa pumuluyo sang Poroque Pilipil, si Tio Binijiwan po ni sa bilog nga barangay Bunga nga makatilaw kami sa priska ka safe nga tubig.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Once again, I will be presenting the role of women in the water sector. Okay, so I hope that my screen is can already be seen by the participants. So to start with the presentation, I will be giving first a background of the Safe Water Project here in the Philippines. So the Safe Water Project is USAID's flagship project for the water sector. This will run from 2019 up to the year 2024. So the scope of the project is on water supply and sanitation expansion and improvement, water resource management, and the strengthening of governance in the sector. So the focus areas of this project is in Negros Occidental, the province of Palawan, and Sarangani province. And primarily, this is a technical assistance program focused on project development, capacity building, and policy reforms. So with regards to women and water, I have to be clear of the context of the role of women in the water sector. So this is a human right. So the human right to water entitles everyone without discrimination to sufficient, safe, physically accessible, and affordable water for personal and domestic use, which includes water for drinking, personal sanitation, washing of clothes, food preparation, personal and household hygiene. And the human right to sanitation entitles everyone without discrimination to physical and affordable access to sanitation in all spheres of life, which is safe, hygienic, secure, socially and culturally acceptable, which provides for privacy and ensures dignity. So, but then despite this, the reiteration of the human rights by the United Nations, exclusion is still present all over the world. There are some grounds of discrimination, often directed towards specific groups of people identified by sex and gender, and disability, health, age, and health status. So on sex and gender, women and girls bear the primary responsibility for domestic tasks based on assigned gender roles. So women are more vulnerable to severe consequences from water and sanitation-related diseases, especially when they are pregnant. But while at the same time, safe water and hygiene are key to preventing neonatal deaths. So girls are also known to drop out of school due to their caring and domestic tasks, as well as when sanitation and menstrual hygiene facilities are not available at schools. And women's sanitation needs are often not considered, particularly with regard to menstrual hygiene management. So menstrual hygiene is considered a taboo, which deters women from voicing their needs and prohibit their active involvement in decision making and planning processes. So women and girls are also at risk of physical, mental, and sexual violence when they travel long distances to fetch water, visit public toilet blocks, or go out at night for open defecation. And there is also little recognition of the burden women bear as water managers and cleaners, and this gendered work is unremunerated. So when it comes to persons with disability, the elderly, and those who are chronically ill, so they also experience discrimination when it comes to access to clean water or safe water and sanitation. So people with disabilities are also among those that do not enjoy their rights to water and sanitation, as public and sanitation facilities are often not designed to meet their needs. So when it comes to accessibility, there is what we call the RECU principle, which is the reach, enter, and circulate and use principle. So usually in the design of especially of the sanitation facilities and the accessibility of the water systems, this is not being considered, especially for this group of vulnerable people. So this is not just about building ramps, but this is about communicating effectively and facilitating the movement within the said facilities, keeping in mind not to break the chain of movement. So usually this principle is not being considered, again, in the design of the water system and the sanitation facilities. So accessibility problems also apply to children, the chronically ill, and the elderly, since the facilities are not within easy and safe reach. And chronically ill people may be neglected or excluded on account of stigma. Like for instance, sharing latrines can transmit diseases such as HIV and AIDS. So usually these are the stigma that this group of people are facing in the society. So even if we have these rights, like what I've said a while ago, there's still discrimination and exclusion. So this is the situation of women in the water sector currently. So globally, each more than 2.2 million people in developing countries die from preventable diseases associated with lack of access to safe drinking water, inadequate sanitation, and poor hygiene. And 1 in 3 women, that's 1.25 billion estimated in the world, lack access to safe sanitation. And of this, 526 million women are left with no choice but to go out to the toilet in the open. And every day, around 2,000 mothers lose a child to diarrhea, which is a preventable disease caused by a lack of access to safe toilets and clean water. So in the Philippines, an estimated 12 million people in the Philippines lack access to safe, potable drinking water, and approximately 22 million people are living without adequate sanitation facilities. Significant infectious waterborne diseases are also plaguing the Philippines, such as bacterial diarrhea, hepatitis A, and typhoid fever. Diarrhea is the highest cause of morbidity and the third highest cause of mortality in children under 5. So due to lack of sanitation, women and girls often experience shame. So they suffer the indignity of defecating or urinating in the open. So they also are exposed to violence and fear. Of course, they have to walk long distance for them to be able to to do their personal things, and then this exposes them to risks such as rape and sexual assaults or sexual harassments. There are also health implications. So women are also susceptible to urinary tract infections and dehydration by trying to limit going to the bathroom for long periods of time due to lack of access to safe drinking water and, of course, to sanitation services. There are also Well, women are also generally responsible for the disposal of human waste when sanitation services is inadequate. So they are more exposed to diseases such as dysentery and cholera. When it comes to economic implications, so finding a place to go to the toilet can take women away from more productive activities for long periods of time. So poor access to a toilet can impact their time and health also. So women's participation in consultations is often hindered by meeting times, working hours, caretaking responsibilities, or physically inaccessible for chronically sick or disabled. So usually, women cannot participate in meetings, especially in the design of the projects, because they have to um, be in their house, good care of their children or taking care of the household chores. So these activities also have impact when it comes to their participation in the decision making and planning processes of a certain project in relation to water supply and sanitation. So women sometimes also face social barriers to participating in meetings due to cultural norms against women speaking in public, especially again, like what I've mentioned earlier, about menstrual hygiene management, which is still a taboo in most places. So in terms of participation and equity in decision making, women are underrepresented in the water world, with careers and training in water management still dominated by men. And management of the sanitation sector is typically seen as a technology domain, which is a key reason for male dominance in the sector, as technicians, construction staff, and engineers are predominantly male. And women still bear the impact of inadequate, deficient, or inappropriate water and sanitation facilities and services. However, men dominate the arena of planning and decision making regarding water and sanitation investments. So here you can still see that gender stereotyping and gender roles are still at play. So gender stereotyping in terms of management, such as decision making and planning, management of sanitation sector, uh, still being a technology domain. So here, gender stereotyping, we still have, even though women are still empowered, but still this kind of situation still exists, wherein there are still people thinking that men are logical and women are emotional, thus incapable of making sound decisions. So when it comes to gender roles, so we still lack women leadership in the water world. So women still are being considered as ideal in positions such as secretarial positions, accounting, or bookkeeping roles. So this goes back still to the gender roles, which there's still a lot of work to do when it comes to rectifying this situation. So when it comes to data on women and water, there's still a big gap that still persists in this sex disaggregated data in water statistics at all levels. So both the water and sanitation sectors are dominated by engineering and infrastructure frameworks, and the measure of progress most used in the sanitation sector is the presence of a toilet. This is an inadequate indicator of actual facility availability and use. Okay, so there are also policy commitments to taking gender into account throughout the water and sanitation sector. But however, the available data and data collection efforts are not commensurate with these commitments. So going back to the third statement, so data on the use of toilets, again, this is an inadequate indicator. Accessibility, safety, and appropriateness of the use of all groups of people are not being considered. So why are data on women and water important? So the collection of water data disaggregated by sex, age, and other dimensions is a crucial step to better understand how water is used, managed, and distributed. And good data and robust gender analysis are indispensable to reach the ultimate goal of gender equality. So why women count in the water sector? So it has been proved that women projects designed and run with the full participation of women are more sustainable and effective than those that do not, because the needs of all are considered. Community-based organizations for water management improve social capital of women by giving them leadership and networking opportunities. And it also builds solidarity among them, providing them with support groups in order for them to be able to create solutions in the problems that they encounter when it comes to water system, water supply, and sanitation. Having women leaders for WASH, for water, sanitation, and hygiene also enable the role of women in decision making, capacity building, educating children on sanitation and hygiene, and mobilizing political will around other priorities such as the linkages between water, sanitation, hygiene, and other issues. So targeting women for training and capacity building is critical to the sustainability of water and sanitation initiatives, particularly in technical and managerial roles to ensure their presence in the decision-making process. And gender mainstreaming can bring about institutional and organizational change necessary to ensure equality in the water supply and sanitation sector. So the Safe Water Project's initiative on gender equality and women empowerment, aims to achieve gender equality and enhance the participation and leadership of stakeholders in the water sector, including the water supply and sanitation provision, upstream water management and protection, and sustainable livelihood development in the target areas. So these are our strategies when it comes to gender equality and women empowerment. The first one is for the LGU, is for us to tap LGU gender focal point systems to maximize in the water supply and sanitation and water management interventions. So usually what we do here is we search and identify gender focal point persons and other champions within the LGUs, community partners, and the private sector. We also provide technical assistance for the gender focal point system focal person staff or focal persons to increase women's representation in water supply and sanitation and water resource management. And we also aim to organize sub-platform or sub-network for women leaders in water supply and sanitation and water resource management within local water alliances. So the second strategy is for Safe Water to increase professional and leadership opportunities for women in water supply and sanitation and water resource management institutions. So Safe Water continues analyzing and assessing systems to identify mechanisms and define interventions. So Safe Water also is continuing also in liaising or linking with existing programs offering leadership and mentoring for women and underserved sectors. And Safe Water also coordinates and supports implementation of the livelihood assessment and scoping. So for the third strategy, Safe Water aims to shift social perceptions and valuation of women's input into community and industry decisions. So Safe Water develops materials and compile the stories of women and other social groups, create information, education, and communication materials, and disseminate this for the knowledge or for more people to know about this initiative. Safe Water also, together with its partners, also organize community forums, events, campaigns, and celebration in the water supply and sanitation and water resource management and other related sectors to highlight women's participation. And Safe Water also works with the different sectors, which, especially when it comes to having supportive male leaders and champions in the water supply and sanitation and water resource management sectors. And the fourth strategy of the Safe Water, when it comes to gender equality and women empowerment, is to improve Safe Water staff and local partners' understanding of gender equity in water supply and sanitation and water resource management services. So Safe Water continues its initiatives in capacity building as necessary and extends capacity development for local partners in close coordination with the field teams here in Negros Occidental, in Sarangani, and in Palawan. So before I end the presentation about women and their roles in the water sector, I would like to share this quote from Sinran, which says that everybody says women are like water. I think it's because water is the source of life and it adapts itself to its environment. Like women, water also gives of itself wherever it goes to nurture life. So thank you very much. Once again, thank you very much to the Provincial Gender Focal Point System Action Officer, to Ms. June, and to the rest of the organizers for inviting Safe Water to share its advocacy to the other sectors here in Negros Occidental. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Caril, and thank you for sharing about the advocacy of safe water. Indeed, we really need to have more women involved in the management of water because we are most of the users. And I'm glad you also pointed out about the safety and security of many women, especially if they don't have water in their household, no? So
Yes.
we'd like to call on also our speaker this morning, Ma'am Risa Joy Moldes of OWA. Ma'am Risa is the OIC Regional Director of the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, and she shared with us a while ago the um, the statistics, no, of our OFWs. Okay, is is Ma'am Risa with us? Yeah, so we'll have the open forum. Yes, and okay. First of all, I'd like also to acknowledge, no, the virtual presence. She's watching us, Ma'am Sally Barrios, the OFW Federation President of Negros Occidental, and also the Vice Chair of the PCMD, the Provincial Committee on Migration and Development, and also Councilor Ryan Gamboa, the PCL, Philippine Councilors League Negros Occidental chapter, also our councilor in Silay, and uh, board member. So thank you. And the board Ryan is also a member of our provincial GAD Focal Point System, and some technical staff also are joining us. Okay, so Ma'am Karil, Migration and Development, and also Councilor Ryan Gamboa, the PCL. Oh, wait, why are we having a feedback? So Ma'am Karil, Migration and Development, and also Councilor Ryan. Yes. As Ma'am Karil, I just missed it, but
Yeah.
in what LGUs are you operating now?
Yeah.
What area
Actually,
in Safe
Yeah,
Water
actually,
Program?
we have yes, we have already started with LGUs within the Bago River and Balago River watershed. So that's include that's for the year one target site. So that includes Bago City, Silay City, Talisay City, Ibi Magalona, Don Salvador Benedicto, and other LGUs as well within the said watersheds. And then for our year two sites, we are already working with LGUs within the Ilog Hilabangan, Bilalbagan watersheds and Himugaan watersheds. So that includes Kabangkalan, Sagay City, Cadiz City, Toboso, Calatrava, and other LGUs within the said watersheds.
Are you working with water, yung Sisiwa, something like that, the water
Yes,
district, and
yes, safe water. Yeah, safe
yeah.
water. We have our water supply and sanitation officer also here on field. So we are working together with the water districts also and other water service providers. I mean the LGU managed water systems.
How many water districts have you coordinated with, and would you have data on how many women are in their board or even in their staff?
Yes, actually, we have already coordinated with some of the water districts, particularly with the water district in Murcia, Kabangkalan, and at the same time, we have also touch base with other water districts such as in Manapla. So we have, for our year one baseline assessment, we have a list of, especially in the water districts, we have a list of their board members and officers, and that's why and that's where we have found out that women participation, especially in the decision making positions, are very limited. So in our baseline assessment, we have found only a few women. Well, here in Bacolod City, the general manager before is a woman, Attorney Carbon. But then for the rest of the water districts, it's still a male-dominated sector.
Thank you. We'd like to welcome once again Ma'am Riza Joy. Ma'am Riza, unlike yung sa water, sabi, very predominantly male. In your presentation, ang OFW natin, mas marami ang babae. Yeah. And a while ago, you shared that, for example, in the province, we have about 10 ba? Ng mga LGUs na medyo you consider as maraming kababaihan, no? And would you care to repeat it again, ma'am? Just para, especially some of them, ma'am Riz, wala pang federation at wala pang desk. So it's a
Correct,
challenge.
correct. Yes, yes, ma'am. So, in generally, there is feminization of migration in the province of Negros Occidental. Actually, in Region 6, there are two provinces nga mas madamo ang OFWs nga kababaihan. So, these are the provinces of Negros Occidental and the province of Capiz. For the specifics, ang aton niya nga mga banwa or kabanwahanan kag kasyudaran nga may ara sang madamo nga mga OFWs nga mga kababainhan amo ni ang syudad sang Bago City, ang syudad sang Cadiz, ang syudad sang Himamaylan, ang syudad sang Kabangkalan kay almost half no sang iya nga total OFW population sa syudad sang Kabangkalan are actually women. Ang sa syudad sang Victorias kag Talisaya madamo ang kalalakinan. Ang sa syudad sang Sagay almost at par, same with syudad sang Silay. So these are the top 10 cities and municipalities with the highest number of OFWs deployed based ini siya sa aton data which is as of March 25, 2021. And
Fresh na fresh.
correct, fresh na fresh ini
Ang
siya.
data mo.
And I would also like to add, in terms of leadership sa aton women OFWs, Ma'am June. So here in the province of Negros Occidental, we have OFW family circles. No? We have around 100 plus OFW family circles, 150 diri sa probinsya sang Negros kay including ang mga barangay level. And 80% sang aton OFW leaders are actually also women, mga kababainhan. Ari diri subong gani ang president sang aton nga OFW Federation as you've mentioned a while ago, no, ang aton super nanay sang aton nga OFW Federation si Ma'am Salvacion Barrios. Ma'am June?
Yeah. So ang sa mention mo bala nga mga top cities ni ho like Bago, Cadiz, Himamaylan, Kabangkalan, wala pa ni sila OFW Federation sa ilang nga LGU kag wala pa sa OFW desk. So anong aton maseling, especially we've invited some of the legislators also and GAD Focal Point Team members kag GAD focal person.
I believe Ma'am June ang sa OFW desk, I was able to sign several MOA or Memorandum of Agreement. I really thank and appreciate the effort of our good governor. So I believe most of our municipalities and cities now have their own OFW help desk. So ang aton lang siguro pangabay, if the LGU has difficulty in establishing or setting up or organizing an OFW family circle, pwede gid kami kabulig hatag orientation in partnership with our Negros Occidental OFW Federation. Pwede gid sila namon mabuligan para mas ma-organize naton ang aton OFW family circles down the barangay level.
Yes, thank you, Ma'am Riz. And I think ang having have the exposure of working with the OFW since last year because we organized the Provincial Committee on Migration and Development, and then through our project on gender responsive intervention to COVID-19 and new normal, we had a fund for psychological counseling workshop, limited first with the three LGUs, and I really heard na grabe ang mga experiences of our distressed OFW. For example, some women, hindi yan naging helper here in the province, but they work abroad to be helpers and would legally kumpisan ka, Ma'am Riz, kasi sa iban gali like in the Middle East. Kung nakita nila nga tapos ka na sa obra, paobrahon kapag ito nila sa balay sang ila kabataan kag kauturan. And grabe ang experiences, no. So it also prompted us to really hold also to have projects on ongoing psychological consultation and workshop. And of course, very helpful yung O1 na before 'di ba mag-depart sila, mabigyan sila ng orientation. And we're
Correct.
hoping to also improve our services like kasi Ma'am Riz, we have a project with ILO on my Provincial Migration Resource Center. And
Wow.
of course, syempre, you as a member of our PCMD, we will always call upon you
Yes,
for
ma'am.
help also.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, we love the efforts of the province of Negros Occidental. You were among the first provinces who were able to provide concrete responses to our distressed OFWs who were affected by the pandemic. So we were the first one who gave additional financial support to OFWs who died during the course of the pandemic. And I know the families are really grateful to the leadership of Gov through you, through your guidance as well, that we were able to reach as much as many OFWs, women OFWs in the province of Negros Occidental. Rest assured, OWA will be your active partner in all your endeavors for the betterment and well-being of our OFWs in the province.
Thank you, Ma'am Riz. And like in the OFW, I observed that the government has more active response because we have sectoral leaders, OFW themselves, who are articulate and they're good in advocating and they're good in pushing for their advocacy. I hope in the water system, I hope we'll have more leaders like the Wonder ano ba yung Miss Karil ang tawag naton sa mga
Water,
water ano yun?
water wonder women.
Water Wonder
Yeah.
Women, no? I think
Yes.
we really need more women, especially ang sa community, and even at the
Yes.
LGU level, because di ba we have some water systems. Kaya lang sad that I think we only have lang usually one representative sa,
Yes.
sa mga board. We hope that there will be
Yeah.
more women na not only in the board but also sa staff level. But I know many
Mm-mm.
water districts in the province. They're
Yeah.
very active, but usually it's during Women's Month, 80 Day campaign,
Yes.
and inviting
Yes.
us also. But definitely it needs the sectors
Yes.
advocacy. That's why we've also invited members of the Provincial Council for Women and also the focal point system sa LGU level, no, para
Yes.
tulungan naman ang ating mga grassroots women because of course they really need capacity building, they need also to be guided or assisted in terms of advocating.
Yes, yes, Tita June. Actually, we are looking for Safe Water is looking forward to its partnership with the Provincial Council of Women and with the Provincial Gender Focal Point System Officer also, Point System Action Office also in pursuing this advocacy, so that we will be able to have more women leaders in the water sector.
Ma'am Riz? Ma'am
Yes.
Riza? Yeah. What do
Yeah.
you ano ba ang kailangan yung i-advocate or i-push ba sa ating LGUs for example?
Yes.
Especially we have at least we have the GAD budget na baka pwede makatulong. Di ba?
Correct, yes, ma'am. Thank you for asking. I was also about to say if it is also possible for our local government units, especially in the barangay level, if we could also designate an OFW focal. I believe in our barangays, we have already our focal for the senior citizen. We have already focals for other sector. But now that we have already a deeper appreciation on the number of our OFW constituents, I think it is also high time that our barangays, no, our local government unit, could also identify or maybe designate a barangay OFW focal person. At least down the barangay level, there is already an intervention for OFW's issues and concerns. So what we will do is we will complement the barangay focal. We will provide trainings for them. We will provide information campaign materials so they also will serve as our liaison. They need not necessarily provide every answer, but they will also serve as a referral or a desk for our OFWs. Maybe we could also train our barangay OFW focal with all the information they need to all other government agencies involved when we talk about migration.
Yes. Um, Thank you. Uh, Ma'am, si ABC President, Liga President Jovi Pipilio is also a member of our provincial GAD Focal Point System, and she's always supportive. And I think during our planning naman sa MRC, we envisioned that we will link up with the Liga ng mga Barangays, especially for example if we have monthly meetings, we can raise this or bring this to them. But also on the part of the PCMD, ang inisip ng PCMD is to encourage LGUs at the city or municipal level to have a desk. But of course, Ma'am Sally would say before the desk, we have to organize and federate the members at the barangay level. And it's also good to have this dialogue with you since last year pa. Because before that, ang notion, tagidya permis ng OFW, mga damo na sila kwarta. In fact, sa una, hindi sila qualified sa SAP. No? But when you really think about, for example, when you give the data, like when we had our first women count, na most of our OFWs na babae, medyo under parang high school graduate or college level. Very few are degree holders. So you can also think na ano bang work na. So it's mostly in the domestic work, and they're really vulnerable for abuse, no? So and then we said before na, hindi sila pwede sa SAP, hindi sila matulong. But we know that the COVID pandemic has really hit the OFWs and they really need help. No? So it's a challenge, and it's also something that we can ask maybe the LGUs. Especially yung mga wala pa the LGUs, no? Na-mention man ni Ma'am Joy ang mga statistics nyo. And so siguro this time, we hope this year we can really move and have our LGUs, and also think about utilizing part of your GAD budget to fund some of the projects for our OFWs.
Yes, that is very correct, ma'am. We can say actually, since majority of our OFWs in the province are actually women and they perform elementary occupations. When we say elementary occupations, these are simple works. Either they are domestic helpers, caregivers, which earns a meager income. Pila ang sweldo sang isa ka domestic worker subong. So minimum is 400 US dollars. And top destination is Saudi Arabia, which is very repressive because of their kafala system. That's why we have heard all over the media, we have seen in the TV that a good number of our OFWs are actually experiencing abuse and maltreatment. So they're living the cost of migration for our female OFWs in the province of Negros Occidental is also very, very high.
Yeah, also for us for the women's sector, Ma'am Joy, merong mga pag-uusap, no, that many of our women also, because interrelated na, because they are victims of abuse also in the home. So to escape that abusive relationship or home, they go to other countries to work, but only to be abused there. And during our counseling also, we learned that talagang yung education of the children is really one of the push factor, that these women, they want their children to be educated, kaya kahit masakit, they go to other countries to work, no? And of course, aside from the education, yung maging maganda man halos yung bahay nila, parang hindi lang barong-barong. And it's so timing that today our speakers are with OWA, with sa water, and also sa housing mamaya, no? And syempre numbers, the Commission on Elections will be sharing with us para mas ma-push natin na gano'n ba kadami ang mga babaeng voters
Yes.
at bumoboto, and ang elected officials. So we really can see also that the realities, and probably think of how we can further improve the status of women by using this data in planning projects and programs for our women. Okay. Miss
Yes.
Karel, anong madagdag mo
Yes.
sa water, for example? I know yung mga sharing mo,
Mhm.
mostly yung ating provincial health, they're also working
Yeah.
on the access to water. Like I remember in our GER Kaba, or Gender Responsive LGU Kaba, we had this report on how many LGUs at ilang percentage of families have access to safe water. Hindi lang basta-basta
Yeah.
water, safe water. Yes, Miss
Yes.
Karel.
So yeah, actually, Miss June, we are also coordinating not only with the provincial health offices, but also with the city and municipal health offices, so that we will be able to get the numbers, especially on the sanitation services or sanitation sector. So we are continuing with our coordination with them. And with regards to the data, that's it. The data is really more on access to toilet. It's really mainly on toilet. So when it comes to gendered data on how many women are accessing this, how many vulnerable groups such as persons with disabilities, the elderlies and chronically ill people are accessing this. There are still a lot to work on when it comes to this kind of data. But when it comes to access to toilets, the numbers are already there. We just have to make it more detailed so that we will be able to uh, make programs and projects that are more gender, that will answer the needs of the women also.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Miss Karel and Ma'am
Yes.
Joy. No, we have a copy of your presentation.
Yes.
Karen will be mailing hers in a while. And we will have this as part of our GAD database, and also for sharing with our LGUs, because we also want them to revisit their GAD plans and budget and incorporate these statistics also. Para
Yes.
responsive naman ang atong mga GAD plan and budget. Para ang budget natin maging makabuluhan yung paggasta, no? Okay,
Yes. So
so some
yeah,
of
and Miss
our
June, and
yes, yes.
oh, yeah, sorry, Miss June. I also would like to add, if I may, na when it comes to projects, it would be best also if we will not limit just to the distribution of toilet bowls, especially on the sanitation side, but we should really be more. Yeah, thinking more of projects that are more comprehensive. So, for example, complete set that's a toilet with a septic tank, because we also have to take care also of our water sources. So, for instance, if there's no septic tank, there's a tendency that our water sources will be contaminated. So, I mean, we also have to make that kind of advocacy also. Mhm.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So we'll be
Thank you.
working together. Of course,
Yes.
Miss Karil is sort of with the non-government. No, Ma'am Joy is
Yes.
part of the NJAs of the government agency. So we will still continue to dialogue with both agencies and with both our women speakers here today, and definitely will be more. You know what? Our speakers will, aside from the certificates which we will be giving out in a while, you will receive from the province webcam and earbuds and
Okay.
souvenir wall clock, and
Yes.
for our continuing dialogue, even online
Yes.
or face to face. Sana pag medyo okay na yung COVID cases, medyo kasi medyo tumataas, no? So here we'll have first for our OIC Regional Director of the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration. Can we flash the certificate of our speaker? Yes. Okay. So I have they're flashing the what we've scanned, but I have here the hard copy. Okay. So let me read the certificate. Republic of the Philippines, Province of Negros Occidental, Provincial Gender and Development Focal Point System awards this certificate of appreciation to Ms. Riza Joy Moldes, OIC Regional Director of Western Visayas of the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, in grateful acknowledgement and appreciation of her services rendered and insights shared as a presenter on women and migration during the Because Women Count 2021 webinar series on GAD data and issues organized by the Province of Negros Occidental through the Provincial Gender and Development Focal Point System with the technical support of the Negros Occidental Language, Information and Technology Center and Tech for Ed Philippines, awarded this 10th day of May 2021 in Bacolod City, Negros Occidental, Philippines, signed by Eugenio C. Vilacson, Governor. Thank you, Ma'am Riz. Palakpakan natin. Virtual applause to Ma'am Riza. Ma'am Riza, thank you so much. Okay, then we have for our next speaker, the same certificate is awarded to Miss Karil Andy Depositario, Gender Focal Person and Livelihood and Partnership Coordinator of USAID Safe Water Project. In grateful acknowledgement and appreciation of her services rendered and insights shared as presenter on Women and Water during the Because Women Count 2021 webinar series on God data and issues. So, Ms. Cariel, thank you so much to the Safe Water Project of USAID. Thank you so much. And this certificate is also signed by our Governor Eugenio Jose Vilacson, who is also our chair of the Provincial Gender and Development Focal Point System. Ma'am Joy and Miss Caril, thank you so much.
Thank you also, Miss June.
Ma'am Joy, thank you so much for joining us, and thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much
much.
for all the services you've rendered to our OFW and their families. So, padayon kita, Ma'am Joy and Ma'am Caril.
Yes, Tita. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
for joining
Anytime
us.
Uh,
for the province, anytime.
Salamat on behalf
yes.
of Governor and the Focal Point System. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
and we
Thank you.
salamat. Yes, and we move on to our next segment. Um, I hope Miss Happy is there with us now at the studio. Okay. Because, yes, she's here. I'm so happy to see Happy. Yes, Happy. Good morning. And so let me introduce you a little bit before you present. So, our next speaker is a daughter of a Negrense from Toboso, but grew up in Cagayan de Oro. She's currently the Associate Program Director of Habitat for Humanity's Negros Occidental Impact 2025 project and has more than 20 years of experience managing USAID, DFAT from Australia, SIDA, JICA, and GIZ funded projects. She has also been involved in European Commission, World Bank, and ADB projects. The thematic strands of her professional work includes housing and shelter, peace building and conflict transformation, governance and institutional strengthening, gender and development, social inclusion, and innovative use of ICTs in rural settings. To talk about women and housing, let's welcome Ms. Arceli Catherine Happy Ballesteros Raagas. Happy! Good
Thank
morning to
you.
you, my friend.
Good
Welcome to
morning.
Because Women Count.
Can you hear
Thank
me?
you for
Okay
joining.
lang?
Yes, yes. Thank you for
Okay.
joining us.
Thank you so much. It's
Yes.
nice to see familiar faces. So I'm glad to see I was able to listen to Karil's presentation also. Thank you.
Mm-mm. Okay, so Miss Happy, we've invited you to share about women and housing, also a very, very important issue for the women.
Yes.
So
Okay. I'm ready
please start.
anytime.
Yes, yes. Please start, Happy.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Can we start now my PowerPoint presentation? Hello, good morning everyone. I'm Happy Raagas, Ballesteros, my middle name. And as June said, my father was born somewhere in Tuboso, but unfortunately, I am not very familiar with my relatives here in Negros. So This assignment, working here in Negros for Habitat for Humanity, is a very much welcome assignment because I will probably have the time to reach out and what's this? Connect with my relatives if I can find them. So, okay, so I will share my presentation. Let me just open this. Okay, here we are. Okay, can you see my presentation? Okay, let me start it in slide. There we are. Sorry, I'm looking at my second screen. Okay, so can you see it now? Can I get some verbal? Okay, so I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay, June, thank you so much for inviting me. While I am not a gender expert on housing, however, I am in the business of housing right now, and I try to gather as many as I can in terms of housing indicators, women indicators on housing, and I'm going to immerse it with my presentation on the project. But um and hopefully I can end with a on a positive note that there is a space within Negros Occidental where we can improve women and housing. Okay, so um, what is the current status in the Philippines? If you look at the SHUD or what used to be HLURB, NHA statistics, all of our housing governance agencies, the current need, the backlog of housing in the Philippines is 4 million. That's not 4 million individuals, that is 4 million families. So right now, there is a need to improve the housing, to provide housing, because in these 4 million families, there is a mix of those who are homeless, those who are living in very precarious living conditions, and the living conditions are brought about by two factors. Either they are in danger areas, in areas that they do not, or in lands that they do not own, or kung hindi man danger areas, yung bahay naman ang danger kasi barong-barong lang siya. So, our current statistics, it's a little bit not it doesn't look good because that's 4 million families. And if I am correct, I can be, you can check me on this. NHA was only able to deliver 200,000 houses, new houses, and that is 2019. So we can also imagine if that number was probably changed and probably reduced because of the lockdowns that we experienced over the last year, no? And if unabated, if it is not going to be fixed, if no concrete solutions are provided, that number of families is going to increase to 6 million by the end of 2030. And we know there are many negative impacts that can happen to a family if they do not have safe, resilient houses and secured tenures. Let me just, I hijack this from another international NGO that really works on women, from the ANOVA in 2017, and you can take a look at this and see if it applies in the Philippines. In every country and every region of the world, not only poverty affects more women than men, but that the consequences of poverty are more severe on the former rather than the latter, no? So this phenomenon is referred to as the feminization of poverty. And we know that one of the symptoms, because it is not just one, it is both a cause and effect. That's that's where housing really is. not having a house is a cause, but then it is also an effect of poverty. So if you take a look at, if you recall my previous slide, you can also imagine that when we talk of 4 million families, how many women in those families, or what part of those families are made up of women? So that's why there is really a feminization of poverty. Um, what is the most significant problem that we have right now, no? So many low income families live in disaster prone areas and have no access to decent and disaster resilient houses due to a number of reasons, but we can sort of cluster these reasons into major reasons, and these are some of those causes. One, there is inaccessibility of appropriate construction technology, and because many are poor, they will just use whatever is available, no? And we can see this in many of the resettlement sites, and this is by no means pointing out the inefficiencies of government, but we do have a lot of resettlement sites where the informal settler from his previous land will just take down take down his house, and then collect the materials, and then transfer to the resettlement site, and then rebuild his house using the same materials and construction technology. So sariling sikap lang. And also another reason is that inadequate government support and programs. And we do not mean this to be pejorative. We simply are pointing this out because housing is really it's a systems problem. We cannot expect the government alone to fix that problem, but we cannot also expect private sector alone to fix that problem, or the NGO community alone. So it's a systemic problem, and if government has inadequate support, maybe we can all come together to provide solutions to that complex and systemic problem, which is inadequate housing. And then, nauna kanina, nasabi ko na there is also high cost of disaster resilient construction materials. And we mean this, in this sense, we say there are construction materials available. People can buy. However, the construction materials that are needed for disaster resilient housing are probably a little bit more expensive and more that can people can afford. However, the good news is that we have a lot of private sector, NGOs, people's organizations, and even venture capitals, no? Mga social entrepreneurs that have already tried to discover, invent, create sustainable housing materials with cost as as something that they want to address. But these are more or less some of the reasons why many low-income families live in disaster-prone areas and do not have access to decent and disaster-resilient houses. So, but we at Habitat, we believe that everybody deserves a place to call home. So, ang vision ng Habitat is that everyone has a decent housing place to live. And we will hope to do that one community at a time, one barangay at a time, one household at a time. Now, when we talk of resettlement sites, and there are efforts at providing low-income families with resettlement. However, many of the resettlement sites that we have in the Philippines are very problematic also, and these are some of the general statistics that we have. In general, many families that have been relocated to resettlement sites, particularly off-site housing projects. Anong ibig sabihin ng off-site? They live in a certain place and they are brought to a new place to start their life all over again. So that is an off-site housing project. Because meron din namang mga iba, what they do is an on-site housing project, no? And so what's the statistics there are not very nice. And since I was able to listen to Karil's presentation earlier, water is really a huge problem. And for example, we have 41% that do not have water connection problem. Pasensya na naging linya nung water connection ng 43. The 43.7% actually is about the non houses or households in resettlement sites without electricity connection. And then 40% of relocated families were economically displaced. What does that mean? Many of them have suffered or experienced a reduction in income because they are now brought to resettlement sites that are far from where their usual employment is, or far from where the livelihood activities are, no, or where they used to have their activities. And in fact, this decrease in income per capita, so when we take it on average and we look at the data, the decrease in income per family per capita can range from a low 5% decrease, but some families are more affected than usual, where this decrease in income can go as high as 57%. But this data is prior to COVID, prior to the pandemic. So this data may even be a little bit more, the numbers are even probably more bad, no? So if you take a look at our sources, this is from prior to COVID, and from DILG data and PCUP data in 2015 and 2016. But aside from in economic issues, many families, head of households, probably women, the mothers, the wives, and even children, they also experience negative psychosocial impacts when the resettlement sites that they are being brought to are not uh, are not equipped with the necessary infrastructure so that they can have sustainable and empowered communities. So in addition to these are some of the women-related statistics according to a 2017 Philippine Statistics Authority infographic I had, no? And in fact, this infographic, it has other data but not related to housing. So you can find this on the internet. This infographic is actually entitled Women Empowerment. But let's take a look at terms of ownership, and let's just not look at housing but also some of the other things, the other significant things that people own. And we will also take a look at what happens to women's income as far as decision making is concerned. So in terms of ownership, so please remember, this is not post pandemic, excuse me, this is pre pandemic. So in 2017, mukhang empowered na ang mga kababaihan, no? 26% of women have access to own a mobile phone, no? And this is a good number because that means women now have access to communication, have access to information, but at the same time, that number has also given access to the purveyors of fake news, access to our women. So it's really it has two sides, no? The positive side and the negative side. Okay. However, the numbers are still low in terms of banking accounts. So only 22% of women use banking accounts. Unfortunately, this number does not include women's participation in microfinance institution. So meaning to say, member ba sila ng isang cooperative na meron silang access doon, no? Kasi hindi siya kinakount as an official bank account. We know that in cooperatives, women members are supposed to have a membership fee, and then meron silang account doon kung saan nagka-capital build up sila, no? So this is just your formal bank account, banking sector. And then look at ownership of homes. Only 32% of women own houses. Either they own it alone or own it jointly because conjugal property siya pag silang mag-asawa, no? So If you really translate that into numbers, no, only 3 women out of 10 will own a house, either mag-isa siya or jointly dahil may asawa siya, or posible din jointly dahil kasama niya ang kapatid niya, no? They jointly own it, or this is a woman and a parent co-owning jointly a house, no? And then in terms of land ownership, so either alone or jointly, only 12% of women that were interviewed own lands. So by the way, the background of this study that was done by the PSA, this is I'm not sure what the number is in terms of respondents, but what I remember correctly from when I saw it, the respondents range from the age of 19 to 49 or 50. So in terms of decision making sa savings, sorry. So in terms of decision making sa wife's earnings, and we can probably correlate this also with the other numbers that you see in the same screen, no? How the wife's earnings. So the question here is, are the wife's earning? So this is women earning outside of their husband. So sariling income ito ng isang babae na may asawa, no? So how do wives' earnings, how are they used? So 50 or half of the women said that they decide the use of their money jointly. Magkasama sila. Okay? They are partners of the purse. And then the other 43%, they say that they decide on their own on how to use the money that they earn. Bless you, husband, for allowing your wives that kind of leverage and empowered. So she's empowered to use her budget, no? She makes decision on her earnings. But there is still a remainder of 3%. 3% of women have reported in this timeline or in this survey that only the husband decides how to use the money. So try to make out what you can and what you will of that statistic. But I also know that in what's this? Sa informal na mga diskusyon, many husbands actually confess that they give their salaries to their wives. I'm not just sure if they give all of their salaries to their wives or a portion of their salaries to their wives and they keep a little bit. And then, however, in terms of where are they majority employed, 58% of the currently married women in the survey age 15 to 49 who were employed in the 12-month period prior to the survey, majority of them, 75%, so that is 3 in 4 women, actually say that they are employed and paid in cash only. And while it is not part of this infographic, we can make the case that when we hear of cash, paid in cash only, these are probably usually daily wage earners, or I don't know sa mga endo-endo, no, kung are they paid in cash or may mga ATM na sila. But we can take a look here that 3 of the women that are interviewed, 3 out of the 4, are paid in cash only. Sana naman yung cash na yan ay pangmalakihan at hindi lang siya yung sa daily wage earners, no? So, these are some statistics that we have gotten from government agencies that can perhaps help us take a look at, the ownership, how many women own properties, how many of them own houses, how many of them own lands, what are the nuances in terms of decision making on how women are able to use their hard-earned money, and how many women are actually reporting in terms of what kind of income they're receiving, no? So I'm not saying this is just my it's just my analysis and opinion when I say that when 75% of women are paid in cash only, because in the normal course of things now and in practice, those who work in the corporate setting are basically, well, they're paid in cash, but it's paid through the ATM, di ba? Kahit tayo sa gobyerno, nasa ATM lang. So, pero ito, parang this is still the practice kung saan talagang inaabot at nagsasign ng payslip yung ating mga kababaihan. But let me add, ang hindi ko nasama dito sa slide na ito, I want to point out other statistics. No, I'm reading it off my notes that right now in Western Visayas there are 392,000. Let's make it easy. There are almost 400,000 poor families. Sorry about that. In Negros, sorry, not yet, in the Visayas in Region 6, and this is statistics coming from the SWD. And because this is in relation to the conditional cash transfer, no? And then, however, that is a data prior to the pandemic. So you can make now your leap of faith or your leap of analysis. Ilan na kaya yan? And Negros Occidental has the most number of poor families in Region 6. 35% of the poor families identified by DSWD in Western Visayas is actually in Negros Occidental. Negros Occidental still has the highest poverty incidence. In 2018, this was at 14.6%, but that's already an improvement from the 2015 poverty incidence, which was at 25%. But in the 5 provinces covered by the region, Neg-Oc has the highest poverty incidence. And for members of our audience who are working with government and even in the NGOs, you can very well feel this, no? The poverty incidence. The numbers I'm saying, it may even be more now because again, this is pre-pandemic numbers. So let me just present to you very quickly. We have a video presentation because Habitat last year, in the middle of 2020, conducted a survey on the impact of COVID on low-income families, on the housing market systems. But to make that easier to understand, it's really how the COVID has impacted low-income families regarding their access to and attitudes towards housing. Unfortunately, the video... Okay, there it is. Yes, please go ahead. Thank you. Thank you for that. And let me just continue to share my screen again so I can continue from that. Okay. All right. So I was about to say I was going to share a video presentation with you, but unfortunately, the study that Habitat conducted together with its partners, wala, it does not show you the sex disaggregated information, no, because at that time the objective really was to basically understand as a whole what is the impact of COVID on low-income families and their decision-making processes on access and their attitudes to houses. The video is available at the end of this presentation. It is already with Miss Marie June. So, Miss Marie June, the video can be shared. We have permission from Habitat that this can now be shared to whoever is interested to find out. But if you notice that that video showed you some numbers and some statistics, this is actually based on a larger study. There is already a full report that is out. And at the end of the presentation, I will try to share with you the link where you can access the report. What's good about the study that was the basis for the video presentation is that some of the respondents of the study was actually came from Silay, no? Silay City, where our first housing project with Habitat is located. Okay, so let me just continue. So, what is the vision now? Everything that the slide, all the previous slides were looking at housing, how it affects women, the the poor statistics we have on housing. So, but what is the vision now for Negros Occidental? And then remember, I also told you that there are about 130 poor families, no? And this fits the definition of the DSWD. There are 130,000 poor families in Negros Occidental. And if we take on a generic understanding of families, a family has a mother and probably girl and women children. And remember, in the Filipino context, we have generational households. So, nandun na si nanay, nandun pa ang nanay ni nanay, or probably ang nanay ni tatay, so nandun si mother-in-law. So, in that little space that they have, these families natin, yung ating 130 na poor families in Negros Occidental, marami dyan. Mas marami pa siguro, most likely, ang number of women. Unfortunately, I do not have the ready statistics right now. But Habitat now looks at the issue of poverty housing in Negros, and we would like to be part of the solution. We already know what the problem is, and the statistics are there to prove that the problems exist. But parang ang nangyari ngayon kay Habitat, reklamo tayo ng reklamo, may magagawa ba tayo? So Habitat had a vision, and we were able to convince another partner to fund the vision. We would like to be able to positively impact the province, and instead of having a fund or a large chunk of money that is going to be put in different sites, kasi normally pwedeng ganyan ang project eh. You can have it on many sites. We can have it in 2 to 3 provinces. But we've decided together with our partner that, sorry, I lost my screen. Let me just do that again. Okay. Let me put up my screen back. Sorry about that. Can you see it now? For some reason, my screen is not sharing. There it is. It's back. Okay. So, just going back to what I said earlier, we at Habitat, we were able to convince a partner that we would like to expand our operations in one province, select one province, and then pour in the resources there. And because of that, the Negros Occidental Impact 2025 project was born. And just to summarize, just to make it easy, the vision is really when we need to relocate informal settler families in Negros Occidental, we hope that we will be able to assist the government, this is the LGUs, cities, and the province, and the other housing agencies. We would like to be able to contribute so that our informal settler families are able to live in sustainable communities, and Habitat will be bringing in, it will act like a catalyst and an integrator or an aggregator. We will bring in hopefully public subsidy, public money, and private funds, leverage them together so that they can serve as catalytic, as so that our project can serve as a catalytic project for both government and private sector to learn from. So we now have a project here in Negros. It's been here for the last 2 years, but I have to admit that the pandemic last year has slowed our operations a bit. But hopefully we will be able to go back to pre-pandemic speed, no? And these are some of the basic features. So the objective is to be able to provide 10,000 informal settler families in the province. This is only for Negros Occidental. Pasensya na muna Negros Oriental, pasensya na muna Aklan, pasensya na muna Capiz. Hindi muna kayo nakasama dito dahil Negros muna talaga tayo. So the project is for the informal settler families. These are the identified informal settler families of the cities or municipalities. We will provide them with houses. Walang bayad yung bahay. But the houses uses a certain type of bamboo technology. So may economic portion din yon, no, na hopefully we can also help the bamboo industry of Negros, because I became aware that the province is also considering the bamboo. Very serious yung pag-support ng bamboo industry. So this is just a go-through of the components of the project. Our project has 4 components: construction technology, site planning, housing finance, and community cohesion and development, no? So we hope that through our project, by providing at the end of 5 years, if it takes longer, maybe in 6 or 7 years, we hope that we will have been able to change the lives of, if we talk of 10,000 informal settler families, we're also talking of 10,000 mothers, 10,000 girls, at the very least, because on average right now, one family has about 4 to 5 members, no, of the household. So our the project that we have has already gained traction. We have a leadership coalition, and if you can see there, among the leadership coalition, we have been lucky and able to get the support of Governor Lacson. So we have the Negros Occidental provincial government as part of our supporters, and the focal person in the province I will be working with is also Marie June. So maganda siya, no? Because if Marie June is doing the gender and is the gender focal person, then she can also help us at Habitat become more conscious about the gender and development aspect of our project. And then we are also supported by the Office of Congressman Kiko Benitez, and we already have been able to sign a memorandum of understanding with the DSUD. So this project is also being adapted under the Balay program. So I will just breeze through this. There is no need to really spend time, because I will also be providing you with a copy of this presentation. No? As we mentioned earlier, there are 4 components: construction technology, financing, site development, and cohesive communities. And for the construction technology, while our houses are made of bamboo, but in the final itsura niyan, you will no longer see the bamboo from the outside. So in terms of aesthetics, it is nice to look at. And these are the houses we are providing for free to our families, where the list of families will come from our local government units, normally through their housing offices, or most probably from their city planning. Sometimes you also work with the city or municipal social work and development office. So this is the vital statistics of the bamboo technology we are using. Okay. But this is where we are more concerned, and I would like to concentrate a little bit more on this for the benefit of our audience. Right now, most of our housing projects are the grant model. So libre, the family does not have to pay for anything, as long as, one, they are officially endorsed by the local government unit, and the families or the head of the families must commit to a 400-hour sweat equity. That is all they need to put in to qualify for the grant model houses. But we know that not all families that our low income families are not all bottom of the pyramid. Some of them may probably be Pag-ibig members, have a reasonable source of income. We would like to explore, hopefully together with June and whoever is interested, LGUs, if you have plans to provide low-cost housing to employees, or to some of your uh, specialized or identified clusters of beneficiaries, those who are Pag-ibig members, we are open to look at a Pag-ibig model, no? Although still using the cement bamboo frame technology, but these are lower in cost than your normal socialized housing programs. And then for the third part, this is actually being taken care of by another person. This is not my expertise, but we are looking at also making sure that our families, at some point in time, this is still being thought through, will be able to access additional funds, either for repairs or maybe for livelihood support, and so on and so forth. And then, and this is where this is important for uh, our audience in this live presentation, is that what Habitat cannot do this alone. Habitat will be looking for the money to build the houses, and we are working with our donors, but we will be needing counterpart from the LGU. And since LGUs are the ones with access to sites, we would like to partner with LGUs with sites that are already site developed. Okay. All right. And then let me just wrap this up. Last but not the least, we would like to tell everyone that we are definitely going to ensure that our communities in the sites that we will be working in, we will become sustainable and empowered, and we provide community development activities. So this is just an example of a one of the trainings that we provided our uh, homeowner association partners. So to wrap up, our site can be already reached through the internet. If you link through that link above, https habitat.org@NOI, it will lead you through the site for the NOI project. And then I would also like to leave the following with you. I have been able to look for helpful tools and additional readings I am encouraging you to have. The TCIS full report on the impact of COVID-19 on housing for low-income families. This is in PDF and it's available upon request. I can send this to Marie June, or if we have an attendance sheet, I can just send this all to those in the attendance sheet. But the two other resources I have enumerated here can be found in the internet. We have the ADB gender checklist on urban planning, on urban development and housing, which is very important. It's very helpful for planners out there. And another interesting read is a UNDP study. It's entitled "Harsh Realities of Marginalized Women in Cities of the Developing World," and one section there is devoted into housing and shelter. So that's my presentation. I have provided here in my last slide my contact details. If you, by any chance, you are interested in exploring or assisting your LGUs to become partners with Habitat, please feel free to reach me through my number, which is there, and my email address. And with that, I say thank you very much.
The Q&A. Ha?
Thank you,
Q&A
June.
in a while. Yeah.
Salamat, Sid.
Okay, thank you. So our next speaker will talk about women and leadership, especially using the statistics with the COMELEC. She is a volunteer firefighter of the Bureau of Fire Protection, uh, champion in badminton, an outstanding alumni of in the field of law by the conferred by the Holy Family School, a former legal consultant of some LGUs and groups, former professor of the UNOR College of Commerce, Graduate Studies, and College of Law. And before she became the acting provincial election supervisor of the Commission on Elections in the province, she was the election officer for of Victoria City. Friends, let's welcome this morning the acting provincial election supervisor of the province of Negros Occidental, Attorney Maria Fatima Mahilom Aspan. Good morning,
Good morning.
Attorney.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Joan. Good morning,
Hi.
everyone.
Yes, we're looking
Morning sa
forward
mga
to your
babae.
presentation.
Oh,
Yeah.
very glad that nadayon gid ang aton nga
Women count.
program. Women count. All right.
Take,
All
take it
right.
away, ma'am.
So, let us start with the sex disaggregated data. Now, in COMELEC, we have been persistently campaigning for women participation in our electoral process. We have conducted special registrations on women and girls, and of course, has given the GAD Focal Point System of COMELEC has been very active this past few years. All right. So I will be presenting to you a comparative data on the participation of women as well as men in our electoral process in the province of Negros Occidental. As you can see, as of the 2016 national and local elections, we have 84%, 89.47% male candidates, female candidates, so 10.53%. For the winning candidates, 90.48% for the male and female 9.52%. So makita daton nga jutay pamangged sa 2016 ang mga babayi nga naga-intra sa pamulitika. 2019 national and local elections. We have 86.49% male candidates, female 13.51%. So nagtaas-taas siya ang numero sa mga babae nga nagpartisipar sa atong eleksyon. Lantawo naton karon ang percentage sa mga nagdaog nga kandidato. Sa mga lalaki, 85.71%. Ang mga babayi, 14.29%. So, nagdamo manggid ang mga babayi nga nagdaog sa aton nga during the 2019 national and local elections. Next slide please. So, amo ni ang aton nga comparative table sa provincial candidates naton. For the provincial candidates, ang aton nga mga lalaki nga nagpadalagan, 34, ang babayi is 4, ang total is 38. So, during the 2016 national and local elections, 89.47% ang lalaki, ang babayi 10.53%. Winning candidates during the 2016 NLE, 19 out of 34 ang male, 2 female, a total of 21. So percentage, male 90.48%, female is 9.52%. For the 2019 national and local elections, for the provincial candidates, we have 32 male, 5 females, or a total of 37 candidates. Percentage of candidates, male 86.49%, female 13.51%. Let us go now to the winning candidates for the 2019 national and local elections. Male 18, female we have 3, or a total of 21. For the male, we have 85.71%, female 14.89%. So makita naton nga nagtaas ang aton nga women participation during the 2019 national and local elections. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. Now, let us go to our local candidates as to their percentage. Now, for the mayors, we have 83.75%. For the female, 16.25%. Ang nagdaog nga mga lalaki sa mayors, 90.63%. Then we have 9.37% na mga babayi. For the 2019 NLA, ang mga lalaki nga kandidato, 84%. For the mayors, ang mga babayi, 16%. So, damo na babayi ang nagtaya sa eleksyon bilang pagka-mayor. Sa nagdaog, male, 84.38%. Ang babayi, 15.62%. Okay, so makita naton on this slide na kung pila ka mga lalaki nga mga mayors ang nagkandidato. Male, 67, 13 females, or a total of 80 candidates. 83.75% ang lalaki, 16.25% ang babayi. Winning candidates, male 29 ka mga mayors, 3 ka female nga mga mayors, or a total of 32. Percentage of winning candidates, 90.63%. Ang lalaki, ang female is 9.37%. So we have a total of candidates for the 2019 elections, male 69, female 12, total of 75. For the 2019 national and local elections, for the position of mayor, we have 63 males, 12 females, total candidates 75. 2019 percentage, male 84%, female 16%. For the winning candidates, male 27, female 5, or a total of 32. So now we have 5 nga mga babayi nga mga mayor sa Negros Occidental. Winning percentage, 84.38%, 15.67% ang babayi. Next slide, please. Now for the vice mayor, as of the 2016 NLA, male 95%, female 19.5%. Ang mga nagdaog, male 75%, female 25%. So 2019 NLA, male candidates for vice mayor 79.3%, female candidates for vice mayor 20.97%. So let's go to the winning candidates. Male 84.38%, female 15.62%. So we now have a comparative data. Vice Mayor, male 51, female 12. We had a total of 63 candidates during the 2016 national and local elections for Vice Mayor. Let's go now to the percentage of candidates. Male 80.95%, female 19.5%. Winning candidates for the 2016 NLE, male 24, female 8, or a total of 32. So winning candidates, 75% for the male, 25% for the female. During the 2019 national and local elections, for the position of mayor, 49 male, 13 female, or a total of 62 candidates. 2019 male, 79.3, female 20.97%. So winning candidates for the 2019 elections for the male, we have 27. For the female, we have 5, or a total of 32. Male, 84.38%, female, 15.62%. So from this data, we can see that medyo nagamay. No, nagjutay ang aton nga babayi nga daog. Okay, next slide please. For the councilors, male 82.4%, female 17.96%. For the winning candidates, male 81.68%, female 18.32%. During the 2019 NLE, we have 81.24% male candidates, 18.86%, 76% female candidates. For the winning, male 78.32%, female 21.68%. Now let's go now to the next slide as to the statistics. For the candidates of councilors, male 530, female 116, or a total of 646%. Percentage for the male is 82.04%, for the female 17.96%. Winning candidates, male 223, female 50, a total of 273. During the 2016, we have 81.68% of the city and municipal councilors were male, while 18.32% were female. During the 2019 national and local elections, we had 498 male candidates, 115 female candidates, or a total of 613. Percentage of the male councilor candidates for 2019 national and local elections, 81.24%, female 18.76%. So who won during the 2019 national and local elections? We have 224 male councilors, and we now have 62 female councilors, or a total of 286%. As to the percentage of the male and female councilors, presently we have 78.32% male and 21.68% female. So we can see a little increase of the female incumbent councilors during the 2019 national and local elections. Now let us go to our punong barangays or barangay captains. Our last barangay elections, barangay and SK elections, was in 2018. So we had male 82%, 82.4%, female 17.96%. So for the winners, we have male 81.68%, female 18.32%. As to the figures, punong barangays, we had 1,140 male candidates and female 313, or a total of 1,453 candidates for the position of punong barangay. Percentage of candidates during the barangay elections: male 78.46%, female 21.54%. For the winning candidates, we now have 531 male punong barangays, while we have 131 female punong barangays, or a total of 662. As to the percentage, we have 80.21% male punong barangays, while we have 19.79% female punong barangays. For the barangay kagawads, we have 71.89% male, female 28.11%. Those who won during the 2018 barangay elections: male 72.40%, female 27.60%. During the 2018 barangay and SK elections, we had 8,993 male candidates for barangay kagawads, while we had 3,516 female candidates for barangay kagawad, or a total of 12,509. Percentage of candidates for the male, we had 71.89%, for the female 28.11%. Winning candidates for barangay kagawads: 3,355 males, 1,279 female, or a total of 4,634. Percentage: 72.40% male rather, and 27.60% female. SK chairperson. During the 2018 barangay and SK elections, we had 53.96% candidates, male SK candidates, female 46.4%. For the winning candidates for SK chairperson, we have male 58.86%, for the female 41.14%. So with our SK chairpersons, more than half ang aton nga mga babayi nga SK chairpersons, almost half rather. So we have here the figures: male SK chairperson 946, female 307, a total of 1,753. Percentage of candidates for the barangay elections: 53.96%, 46.4%. Winning candidates for the SK chairperson: 435 males, 304 females, or a total of 739. As to the percentage, we have 58.86% male chairpersons and 41.14 female chairpersons. For the SK Kagawad, we had 51% male candidates, while we have 48.49%. So, among the candidates sa mga SK Kagawads, more or less daw ma-even sila. 2018 winning candidates: male 51.86%, female 48.14%, or almost 100% ang nagdaog ng mga babayi nga SK Kagawad during the 2018 barangay and SK elections. Alright, so this is now the statistics. SK Kagawad, male 3,664, female 3,449, or a total of 7,113. Percentage of candidates during the barangay elections, male 51%, female 48.49%, winning candidates 2,217, male, female 2,058, or a total of 4,275. Percentage as to the winning candidates, male 51.86%, female 81.14%. Now let us go to the statistical data on the Negros Occidental voters turnout. This is a comparative data during the 2016 and 2019 national and local elections. During the 2016 national and local elections, for the total number of registered voters, for Negros Occidental, we had 1,633,492. So out of that figure, we have 812,404 male rather, and 851,088. So mas madamo ang mga babayi nga botante nga registered voters during the 2016 national and local elections. Now let us go to the percentage of those who actually voted. For the male, 670,237. For the female, 723,549, or a total of 1,393,786. Now, as to the percentage, male 82.50%, female 85.1%, or a total of 83.79%. So we can see from this data, madamo ang babayi nga registered voter, kag subong man madamo nga babayi ang nagakadto sa presinto agud to magboto. For the 2019 national and local elections, we had 1,889,200 total registered voters in Negros Occidental. So out of this, we have 921,762 male, 967,438 female. Let us go now to the percentage of those who actually voted. Male, 684,139, female, 743,762, or a total of 1,427,897. As to the percentage, male 74.22%, female 76.88%, or a total of 75.58%. So we can see from this data na both during the 2016 national and local elections and the 2019 national and local elections, madamo nga mga babayi ang nagapartisipar kumparar sa mga lalaki. Now, this is the latest data of Negros Occidental as to the registered voters. This is as of April 19, 2021, which is the latest ERB or Election Registration Board hearing. So we now have 1,806,912 total number of registered voters. So out of this, we only have 881,523 male and 925,389 females. So kung basihan naton mag-eleksyon kita subong madaog ang mga babayi because we are more in number than the male. 925,389. Amo ni ang aton nga present nga total number of registered voters na mga babayi. Next slide, please. Now, I included this na statistics ang COMELEC personnel. Sa una, dominated by male ang COMELEC Negros Occidental. No, pero sa subong, makita naton nga mas madamo ang babayi sa COMELEC Negros Occidental. During the 2016 national and local elections, 38 male, so 70 ang female. So total naton nga personnel sa COMELEC Negros Occidental, 108. Subong, we have 43 male personnel in COMELEC Negros Occidental and 69 female personnel, a total of 112. Now, this includes the present acting provincial election supervisor, yours truly, of course, nga ang atong gimbusan sa nabalaan na natong tanan isa man kalalaki. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, that will be all for the statistical data on the women participation of Negros Occidental. So, do you have any question or?
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Attorney. Kanami sa imong mga presentation. Kag na-excite gid ako.
Sa figures.
Yeah, siguro that's a challenge to the women's sector because as you presented na in terms of the candidates, dutay lang ang babae nga nagapapili. Siyempre, dutay nagpapili, dutay man ang nagdaog. It's only in the SK na halos halos equal nga number of boys and girls nga nagapapili kag halos nagadaog, and sa village level mas damo babae nga padlagan. And syempre ang the last 3 slides ang point nga mas madamo nga babae ang rehistrado and nagaboto. Both
Yes, that is correct.
proven by the 2016 data and ang challenge sa 2019 nga elections na ang voter turnout, and then now the very fresh summary of our registered voters, and mas damo ang babae. So ang challenge sa mga kababaihan nga really knowing about the issues, and we hope that syempre ang mga lalaki nga mapapili kabay paaton man sila ma-advocate to also carry women's issues or to have a platform on the women's agenda. Attorney, sa una na lang ko sa imong question, anong asa saan gani atong registration, and usually anong mga schedules?
Until September 30, 2021 ang aton nga voters registration. Subong nga update, ang aton nga registration schedule will now be from Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday from 8 to 5, 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. Then on Friday, we can conduct satellite registrations sa aton nga mga barangays, sa aton nga malls, or schools. Galing kiti subong wala pa kita klase. So ang aton nga satellite registration, we can either conduct it sa aton nga mga barangays and sa aton nga malls. Now, as with regard sa conduct sa aton mga barangays, of course, we will still observe the protocols nga dapat COVID-free ang barangay, and we must ensure the compliance to social distancing and hand washing, wearing of face mask and face shields. Okay. And physical distancing. Now, if the barangay captains would wish to request from their respective election officers or COMELEC offices. Now, pwede gid sila maka-request for the conduct of satellite registration sa ilang barangay. But they should make sure nga ang ilang nga registrants would not be less than 200 so that hindi man manubo ng aton nga COMELEC personnel sa pagkadto sa aton nga mga barangays.
Attorney, if you're doing the satellite, may ara na yagyapon tao sa opisina in case sa offices sila makadto ang iban?
May tawo kita pero hindi kita maka-register sa aton nga COMELEC offices because considering that ang aton nga personnel limited, no, we are still on a skeleton workforce, so laban ang aton nga mga personnel ara na sa satellite venue.
Okay, thank you. And na-compute ko gali, no, ang gin-present mo, the data you presented from the very beginning is composed of Negros Occidental and Bacolod City. No,
Yes,
just for the
Negros
information of
Occidental
our...
and the Bacolod City.
Yeah, because in the province we have 601 barangays and Bacolod City has 61 barangays.
61, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, just to make it clear that so yung nalista to kanina we have 662 nga mga punong barangays that is reflective of highly urbanized Bacolod City and the whole province of Negros Occidental.
Thank you.
Okay, attorney, please do stand by. If is Happy there with us still? For just a very quick question for Happy.
Yes, I'm still here.
Yes, yes, Miss Happy. Just an announcement. I think there's an activity next week for LGUs related to housing. Can you please tell us something about this?
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this chance to plug Habitat Philippines and the Department of Housing and the DSUD national and regional levels will be conducting a brushing up of the local shelter plan. Right now in Negros, only 18 LGUs out of the 32, excluding muna ang Bacolod kay ang sa province lang muna, ang under man sa inyo June is the 31 no LGUs, no, tama ba? Pang 32 si Bacolod, correct, no? If I'm correct. Anyway, so of all the LGUs in Negros, only 18 have completed and approved local shelter plan. And local shelter plans are very important because this is where the LGUs will really plan out and forecast ilan ba ang backlog nila ng mga bahay, ilan yung mga pamilya na ipo-forecast nila on a yearly basis, pila ang mga homeless, and so on, no? So in terms of planning and then putting forward rational steps to address homelessness, that's why the local shelter plan is needed. Pangalawa din, a site na kung makipag-partner with ang LGU with Habitat, hindi natin pwedeng ipa-accredit siya under the Balay program if the LGU does not have an approved LSP and an approved CLUP. So sa CLUP, the problem is even higher, June. Damo na nag-expire. So sa CLUP, mga 10 lang sila ang ara na CLUP na updated. So it's not to say na walang CLUP. May ara, pero hindi siya updated. So Habitat is providing this a session to help LGUs finish their CLUP. And ang maganda pa rito, sabihin ko na, baka kaya din naming magbigay ng technical assistance sa mga LGU na talagang nahihirapan. Okay, so that is from May 18, 19, and 20. Yung May 18 is a half-day session with the senior cast of characters. Nandiyan si Governor, si Secretary Del Rosario, opening siya. But the actual LSP training workshop per se will be the next 2 days, the 19 and the 20. So we have already sent out invitations to the LGU and encouraging the LGU to send between 4 to 6 participants. Kay the LSP is not prepared by one person man lang, no? That's really a team effort. So we have slots for all the LGUs. to date, at present, 21 LGUs have already registered. So I hope the rest can register within the week. There's still time. Thank you,
It's
June.
it's online. It's online hub, no? It's an
It's all
online plan, no?
online. So wala nang
And
absent.
yeah, okay. So kahit may shelter plan, mag-attend pa rin, pwedeng umattend.
Ideally, mas maayo June because on the second day, there is a session where we have invited all the financing agencies. Kay ang shelter plan, maayo man siya, natapos siya, pero ang pag-implement issue din kasi naghahanap ng pera for site development, for the housing. So, in the afternoon of the last day, we have invited NHA, we have invited SHAPSI, we have invited Pag-ibig to be able to share how they can help the LGUs find financing for their programs, for their housing
Okay.
program. Thank you,
Yes.
Gid.
Thank you
Salamat,
so
Gid.
much. And so that we'll continue our interaction and future shows. All
Yes.
our speakers will be given a token of
Oh,
webcam,
salamat. Salamat, Gid.
earbuds, and wall clock souvenir. But in the meantime, we have certificates.
Virtual muna.
Uh, virtual awarding, pero ito talaga na print ito at na-sign na ni Gov. So let me read the certificate first for Happy. Republic of the Philippines, Province of Negros Occidental, Provincial Gender and Development Focal Point System, awards this certificate of appreciation to Ms. Happy Ballesteros Raagas, Associate Program Director, Negros Occidental Impact 2025 Program, Habitat for Humanity Philippines, in grateful acknowledgement and appreciation of her services rendered and insights shared as a presenter on women and housing during the Because Women Count 2021 webinar series on GAD data and issues organized by the PGFPS and with the technical support of the Negros Occidental Language Information and Technology Center and Tech for Ed Philippines, awarded this 10th day of May 2021 in Bacolod City, Negros Occidental, Philippines, signed by Eugenio Jose Vilacson, Governor, and also the chair of our PGFPS. Miss Happy, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And this time for our COMELEC election supervisor, our acting provincial election supervisor from the Commission on Elections. The same certificate is awarded to Attorney Fatima Aspan in grateful acknowledgement and appreciation of her services rendered and insights shared as a presenter on women and leadership during the Because Women Count Conference webinar series. So this is also awarded today, 10th day of May 2021 in Bacolod City, Negros Occidental, Philippines, and likewise signed by our governor and PGFPS chair, Eugenio Jose Vilacson. Attorney Fatima Aspan, thank you so
Thank
much
you. Thank
for
you.
sharing. No, excited kami sa sharing sang tanan-tanan, lalo na knowing that we are more kababaihan na nagapa-register kag naga-vote and the issues presented this morning from Women in Migration with Ma'am Riza Joy, Mapa Moldes, and also on water with Karil and Diamante Depositario, and with housing with Miss Happy Ballesteros Ragas, and of course, Ma'am Attorney Fatima Asban. Thank you so much. They're all
Thank
very
you.
informative and will be useful in the work of our local officials, also the GAD advocates, not only in the province but down to the LGU level. So thank you so much to everybody on behalf of
Thank you.
our provincial GAD Focal Point System chaired by Governor Eugenio Bong Lacson. So this is our first episode. Tomorrow morning, our topics will be on education, and our sharers will be from the Carlos Hilado Memorial State College, Technical University of the Philippines, Visayas. We have the Negros Occidental College of Science and Technology, and we also have the Central Philippine State University. And we will be joined by our moderator, Dr. Sharon Huansi of our PESO. Well, I'll be announcing our also topic this afternoon. I'd like to request our speaker for standby, no, for our photo op. So in the afternoon, we'll have the continuation of the educational GAD data. We will have the presenters, the Department of Education, Division of Negros Occidental. We have the TESDA. We also have, of course, Noletsi and the Negros Occidental Scholarship Program Division. And our moderator, we will be assisted by Attorney Annabel Sabay Palik. So to all of you, thank you for joining us. And we hope to see you again tomorrow for two more episodes. And we also have another episode on the 27th with our moderator, Dr. Marialina Iliosa Nogal. And on the 31st, we still have a lot of data to share with you, which we hope can help you in your GAD plans and budgets and your PPAs. So thank you so much to Nuletsi, headed by Dr. Tina Basa Orbisido. Thank you so much, Sally and Philip. Thank you for your help. And to everybody who joined us, thank you so much. And please join us again tomorrow and succeeding series of Because Women Count 2021.